sanctions are a lousy way to conduct diplomacy, a lousy way to influence a target country, unless that country happens to be very much smaller and with vulnerable resources that you can target. Iran is the prime example. Russia is too big, it's too diverse. Sanctions have never worked very well in history whenever they've been tried, but they certainly have not worked when applied against a country such as Russia. Nevertheless, that said, the sanctions have been remarkably effective in two areas. One of them that we already mentioned is finance, and we can come back to that. By the way, I think it's entertaining what you said, Masha, that there are these meetings of Belgian and Luxembourg, presumably finance people in Moscow, given that the sanctioned Russian assets are located primarily in Belgium and Luxembourg. But okay, moving right along. The oil sanctions have been a very interesting story. And the combined effort of the United States to apply sanctions against Russian oil, while at the same time not disrupting the world's oil flows, has been a very interesting exercise in statesmanship, and one I think has to give credit to the U.S. government, at least up until last year, and in particular in the way that they have systematically tracked down ghost tankers, have tracked down the flags of convenience that they are registered under, brought pressure to bear under those various countries, and so on. And the result of that, I think, clearly has been to, in particular, impede the flow of Russian oil to India, which emerged as a major channel. So sanctions have been surprisingly effective in that one area, and also in finance. Now, removing sanctions, as you say, where the sanctions are the result of an executive order, they can be undone with practically the same pen with which they were signed, at the stroke of the same pen. There is the underlying legislative foundation, however, and experience shows that Congress never quite gets around to dismantling sanctions once they've voted them into place. The president can get rid of the executive orders overnight or less. Congress can take 20, 30 years. So, and Congress can be blocked by the presence of any group of Congress people who happen to be opposed. And there will always be someone who is anti-Russian within Congress at any point in time, whether it's Jewish immigration from the 1970s right down to the present day. So U.S. sanctions are likely to stay on the books for quite some time. The European sanctions are self-extinguishing, as you pointed out. Every 6 months, they have to be renewed. That's remarkable that the Europeans have actually managed to do that, given the given well, never mind. Moving right along, they find it hard to agree on much of anything. But by golly, every 6 months those sanctions get renewed. And Orban of Hungary has practically made an art form of selling his agreement for a unanimity vote in exchange for all kinds of benefits from the European Commission and from the other members of the European Union. It's fascinating stuff. But the bottom line is precisely as you said, that the sanctions from Europe have remained intact. And at this moment, there's more hostility than friendship.